Hello, super coaches. Thankfully, you have all been good boys and girls over the off-season, which means we have a very special Christmas present for you all. We've been teasing this announcement on social media for a number of days. Yes, the team picker for 2025 is out tomorrow. That means that subscribers can get in there, pick a team, see all the prices, all the positions, etc. about 6 weeks before the rest of the crowd. That is good news for subscribers. I suggest you dive in there. And also, if you don't have a subscription and want to do this, you can buy a SuperCoach Plus subscription for $29.95. I think there are some seriously good buys on offer this week. Isaiah Yongi is the cheapie of the year for me. Josh Schuster is really cheap as well. A whole bunch of bargains out there. So dive into the team pickup when it opens tomorrow. And speaking about big announcements, I think the biggest one for today is that Rob Sutherland is back on the podcast. We chatted about prices and positions. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to go through some of the big prices this year. Josh Schuster, number one. I know that you're going to have an opinion on him. I put him number one on the list just because everyone has an opinion on Josh Schuster. You look at the stats though, he did average 61 in 2021. That's a long time ago, but there is some serious talent there.
I was under 90 kilos in 2021, Tom. Like there's a lot of water's gone under the bridge since then. The talent's there. I don't know where he's going to play. I don't know where he's going to be used. I don't know, all the talent, great price. I'm interested, but there's a lot to go.
Send through your questions and comments, guys. We've already got 29, which is by far
how many of them are hashtag justice for Hunt? I'm going to get that one moving.
People are just basically loving having Rob back on the podcast.
That is a lie. Hello, Mum.
And we've got a question about Isaiah Yongi, which is a great little
convenient. What a
to
segue
to the next guy on the list, who is Isaiah Yongi. Obviously, he's one of the guys who's been talked about the most in the fullback position. One of the top youngsters going around, but just can't fit in there at Penrith. They got Dylan Edwards. They've got Blaze Talangi going to the club. He probably won't play fullback, but he can't get in. They got Dane Laurie. They just had too many guys who could play fullback. So Yongi is going to the Eels. It's pretty much base price, only $230, but only fullback positioning, which is the only drawback. Other than that, I think he's pretty close to cheapie of the year.
Yeah, it's the thing, isn't it? The fullback. I mean, I think he played 24 games New South Wales Cup last year. I think he played 24 the year before that. He was averaging about 150 metres a game, so he's busy. He's what you want. He's that busy fullback, unlike, say, Tyrrell Sloan, the sort of the lazy fullback option. But I don't know if I can do a cheapie fullback even with the flex. I think I want 3 guns. But then, how much money have we got to spend? Only like 11.6. Maybe that's the money saver there.
Yeah. So he played one game last year, 19 runs. That's exactly what we're looking for.
You don't need to focus too much on. I mean, that's the other thing that starting the season's about making money, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're maybe giving up 15 points, 20 points a game from him to maybe a Keanu Kinney, right, who might be the ultimate third fullback, but you're going to make $350K. And then you can make that 3-gun fullback there with that money. Yep. So there's a strong reason to get him.
Yeah, I think he will end up being my flex player for round 1, and I'll run 2-gun fullbacks in that position. Yeah. If you want to learn more about the flex, there is a story up on the site. It's a free story. Just Google it, hit it up in the app if you're in there, and you can learn all about the flex position and the tactics around it too, because not only is it a backup player, like an 18th man for someone who gets injured or concussed, but there's also some interesting tactics around it as well. On to Peter Mamazelos. So only 31 minutes last year. He's now the top hooker at the Rabbitohs. He could even get 80 minutes, maybe not. They've got some other guys who could back up, but certainly you'd think he gets more than 31 minutes a game.
I'd think so. I would think maybe 60 minutes with who's it? Havili he's a serviceable backup hooker.
And they've got his name's escaping me now, but the guy with the awesome rig who came out. We got the photo of him coming out.
Jamie
of the
Humphries, ex-man.
Humphries, yeah, that's right.
He's got big biceps.
The best
he likes to show them.
He's definitely challenging Ryan Madison for the best rig in rugby league.
Yeah, and the guy who likes flexing it quite as much. The low key one of that is Fogarty. I always enjoy a Fogarty shot in pre-season, ripped, and then it sort of comes back a bit as the season goes on. But geez, he starts strong. Look, 30, 35 tackles, maybe 4 runs. He's not Cook, but he darts around a bit. I think maybe. Price okay.
So 302k, I think that a lot of people are going to get
as
it.
A backup hooker, yeah,
sure. And running 2 hookers, a lot of people probably aren't going to do to start the year, and he looks like the best cheapie option in the position.
You got pretty burnt on that, didn't you? Trying to juggle Harry Grant and say Arpey last year, or Harry Grant and Cook. It's a lot of money to start the year. So
Yep, I agree. And I ended up carrying Danny Levi for the entire season. So that's where cheapie hookers can go. Campbell Graham. So
sticking with South,
averaged almost 70 in 2023. Since then, he's had some serious injuries. Didn't play at all last season. So he comes in at an average of just over 50. So you've got a discount of maybe 19 points per game, 18 points per game, around that. It's pretty good.
In 2023, I thought he was best centre in rugby league, to be honest, which is rough on my boy Joey Manu, but he was phenomenal.
And got picked for Origin that year and then ended up getting ruled out, didn't he?
Yeah. So, lots to see, a lot to watch in pre-season when a bloke misses the entire year because of a sternum injury. Yeah.
On to your Roosters, James Tedesco. So he's the most expensive player in the game. As you mentioned with the flex player, you can fit 3 gun fullbacks into your team. I don't think a lot of people will do it, given Isaiah Iongi is probably not a must-have, but he'll be really popular. But you can get Teddy in there, but it's 920k. The key thing with him is that he doesn't have a bye until round 10. Probably won't play Origin either, unless Dylan Edwards gets injured, because he killed it for New South Wales and then for the Kangaroos.
Yep.
So I don't think it's the worst call from round 1 just to get Teddy straight in.
I agree, Tommy. Again, as long as the pre-season goes well, he's fully fit, I'll probably find the money for Teddy, because I enjoy watching the Roosters a lot more when I've got Teddy in the team than when I don't.
The Roosters are actually a really good team for SuperCoach this year. A lot of guys who will get to...
They're a good team for SuperCoach every year.
They mostly are, but particularly this year with a bunch of guys leaving, and we'll get to them later on.
All right.
But first of all, Lachlan Ilias, let's talk about my Dragons. Look, he's going to play halfback for the Dragons in all likelihood. 384 is a decent price, but it's only a discount of 80k on his starting price from last year. Obviously last season just didn't work out for him. He got dropped and then got that serious leg injury pretty soon after that.
Yeah, I think even the games where Ilias played well, he doesn't necessarily score well, and that's not a knock on him. There's a lot of players who can play well in rugby league, and perhaps their style doesn't really hit in SuperCoach, and I feel Ilias might be one of those. So he's on my no list.
Yeah, let's take some questions, see what's coming through. Repeating that the big announcement is that the team picker is out tomorrow. So if you are a subscriber, get in, pick your team. If you're not a subscriber, it's $29.95 for the year. We'll get to some questions in a sec. So let's go on to Tom Gilbert, coming back from an ACL, and he's 140k cheaper than he was last year. I'm always really wary of players coming back from ACL injuries, but having said that, he's a lot cheaper than he was.
It was a good ACL because it was early in the year.
Those good ACLs.
Well, Bo Firma was one, right? Bo Firma missed an entire year through his ACL, came back, and while he wasn't at 100% at the beginning, he was close. Gilbert, my problem with Gilbert isn't the ACL, it's where does he play? So when he was averaging 60-odd in 60 minutes, he was playing 13. He was playing lock. Plath was excellent at lock, and I can't see Gilbert getting there. So either he's going to go to an edge, where he only averages about 50, or he'll maybe play 45-50 in the prop rotation, which I'd be a bit interested in, but it's an awkward price, and for me, his appeal is at 13.
Yeah, I mean, and at the edge, they've actually bought some players there. We'll get to them later, but Fini Furiaki could get a run on the edge. They've lost Ewan Aiken, but we'll get to that soon. We'll go to another Rooster, your mate, Nwanga Nadawazi, who was really good in his only game last season. Gets a really big discount for only playing that one game. Suali'i and Manu have left the club. They've gone to rugby union and started their rap career. So
they didn't.
Nwanga Natawazi is going to be the beneficiary.
Those guys actually played before they left. They started their rap career, but they've actually released their album.
There we go.
And
okay.
Russell Jackson, our colleague, thinks it's really good.
Does he really?
Yeah, but Russ is like, he's not even a one-eyed rooster. He's
the worst I've seen when it comes to just,
It is ridiculous.
Just
These guys are really talented. No, Russ. But back to SuperCoach. My thing is, I don't know where he's going to play. I know a lot of pre-season team lists, best 17s have him at centre, but the guy's an out-and-out winger. So, other people are saying maybe Dom Young loses his spot, which I find hard. I don't know. I just struggle, and he did get the 60-odd with the try, but that was against Souths, who were at the bottom of the ladder and didn't offer a lot in the game. I think he's got bundles of talent, but I wouldn't be paying that money for it.
Ross Mann, who is a very big fan of our show, and I bumped into him on Friday at the SuperCoach BBL launch. Good to have Rob back on.
Oh, g'day, Ross.
There's lots of love coming in for Rob. So hopefully this one-off appearance can become a bit more than that during the season.
We'll talk in the new year, Tommy.
Isaiah Papali'i, good price for him. So he did average 80 previously, then he went to the West Tigers, and he's averaged around 60 at the West Tigers, who are the worst team in the competition. Now goes to the Panthers. If he can lock in an 80-minute role at the Panthers, you'd think he's a little bit under.
Oh, I think he's under. Yeah. I love what he brings in that he's got a great work rate and he's got great attack.
Yeah.
I don't really see... I'm not sure how he's going to get used at Penrith. I've got a funny feeling he's going to play like that hybrid role where, he's on an edge and then moves in the middle because you're having lost fish. They want a little bit... I suppose they want a little bit of impact there. Lindsay Smith, I assume, will start. And IPAP brings in sort of that maybe senior middle guy that can come on when Smith and... mental blank. Machine gun celebration. Who's their
Spencer
other...
Leniu?
No. Yeah, Spencer Leniu. Yeah.
No, he's left. No,
yeah, as well. Leota.
Yeah.
We should have really done some prep before the show. You can see why I'm rusty. I haven't been on for a while. I still remember the machine gun celebration. Though. That was all time. When they come off, maybe IPAP is that sort of senior voice in the middle. I could get around it at that price.
Yep, I don't mind it either. Zach Laybutt. So I want to point out that there is an opportunity here at the Cowboys in the outside backs. They've lost Valentine Holmes to the Dragons, and Cole Felt has retired or gone to the Super League.
I think he went to Super League.
Either way, there's two
leads.
There's two pretty solid guys in the back line who are out, and then you've got guys like Zach Laybutt, maybe even Jackson Purdue, who could take those spots at good prices.
Sure. My issue with Laybutt is that he scored 105 in the first round. I think he got 2 tries.
Yeah.
And then even though he only played about 25 minutes before injuring, I think it was his knee in round 4, round 5, something like that, he did ACL, score a try. Yeah. So, if you talk about guys coming back off ACLs, forwards are bad, backs are worse. That's getting that explosive speed back. And for me, he's a wait and watch, even at 390.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling, and this is just more of a feeling than anything else.
Feeling in your waters?
That in my water, deep in my loins, is that Jackson Purdue might actually be the better buy in that position. But lots of water to go under the bridge, not just
through the loins.
Fini Fuiaki also at the Cowboys. Leaving the Cowboys and going to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They've lost Ewan Aitken, as I mentioned before. They got Tom Gilbert coming back from an ACL, so maybe he moves into the edge. Either way, the price is pretty good at $368,000.
Yeah, it's the interesting one. I started off thinking no, right? Because he's not Mr. Workaholic. He's not that edge forward that comes in and makes 55 tackles. He's a 35 tackle guy, 30 tackles maybe even, and a few runs. He doesn't make heaps of runs, but they're impactful runs, and he's got attack in him. So I started off with no, and now I'm thinking, well, 45-50 base with attacking upside, yeah. I mean, as long as he gets the gig, I think I'll start with him.
What have we got coming in on the questions? People are loving your shirts, as they usually do. And thanks, better free up the schedule for tomorrow. Absolutely true, because the team picker is out. Repeating that announcement from earlier in the show. Quick question, just
without notice.
Well, it's actually with notice because I sent it to you before.
Oh,
quick question: I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is the cheapie of the year going to be for next season?
Josh Schuster. Lots of talent. Wayne Bennett can get the best out of guys who have talent and bad attitudes. Maybe.
Yep, I don't hate it at all. I'm thinking Isaiah Yonge is the guy. Obviously, he's moved from Penrith to the Eels. He'll start there. He's a high work rate fullback as well. He is only available at fullback for SuperCoach, but I think that's fine. With a new flex position, you can fit in 3 fullbacks, and Yonge will be my flex player for round 1 as it currently stands. Onto your pod of the year. Who do you think this will be?
Yeah, I'll get slayed for this. Tamara Martin.
Yeah.
Played 8 games without SJ. 4 of them he went over 100. 1 he went over 90. Averaged 82.5. One of those games is against Penrith. It's a crazy pod.
I think it's good. It's a good call there. It's a good stat that you bring up as well, and I'm sure people will latch onto that. For me, it's from your Roosters. We spoke about Joseph Suali'i and Joey Manu having left the club. Jennings has left as well. I reckon Robert Toya could come in and potentially get a spot in that back line. Might need an injury or 2 for that to happen, but for now, he's my pod of the year.
Please don't say Robert Toya an injury, right? Like the Toya and Smith, we need the 2 of the unluckiest guys in rugby league, and we need them to stay fit.
Yep. We got, what questions do we have? Agree with Isaiah Yonge for sure. That's from Ben Burton. He will be really popular. Doggies with a good run. This is from Philip saying doggies with a good run means that Preston could be a pod with a full pre-season.
Maybe. He was in his debut year. He was absolutely sensational.
I'll have to look up what his minutes were last year.
I don't think he missed out on a lot of minutes. I mean, that's the thing. He's an 80-minute guy. Kicks is an 80-minute guy. They've got their edges just locked down, and then they recruited all those second rowers, which I, for one, teased them about mercilessly, and it actually worked out pretty well. You know, rotating Salmon and Kurt Mann through the middle, they all worked there.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Well, that is it for our SuperCoach podcast. Great to have Rob Sutherland back on the show. As I mentioned earlier, Team Picker is out tomorrow, so look out for that. Pick your team. Subscription, if you don't have one, is $29.95. That's the SuperCoach Plus subscription. We'll catch you in the new year.